There's a storm brewing in Formula One, one that could shake the foundations of the driver market. The name at the center of it all? Oscar Piastri, the quiet, analytical Australian who's built his reputation on precision and patience, is suddenly the talk of the paddock. And not because of what's happening on track, but because of what might happen next. In the past few days, rumors have exploded linking Piastri to a potential move to Ferrari for the 2027 season. What started as a whisper in the Swiss newspaper Blick has now become one of the hottest talking points in the F1 world. And if even half of what's being said is true, this could be one of the biggest storylines of the decade. The timing of these rumors is no coincidence. They surfaced just days after the Singapore Grand Prix, where the tension between Piastri and his McLaren teammate Lando Norris finally reached a breaking point. During the race, tempers flared. Piastri's radio messages were sharp, his frustration impossible to hide. Then came the post-race interviews, polite on the surface, but loaded with subtext. It didn't take long for fans and insiders to start connecting the dots. Something inside McLaren isn't right. And when a driver of Piastri's caliber feels boxed in, you can bet rival teams start circling. Let's start with what we know for sure. Piastri signed a multi-year extension with McLaren back in March of 2025, a deal believed to lock him in until 2028. But Formula One contracts are like race strategy. They look solid on paper until the right opportunity comes along. If the rumors are true, Ferrari could present that opportunity. By the end of 2026, both Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc will see their current Ferrari contracts expire. That means the 2027 season could bring one or even two open seats at Maranello. Hamilton's time at Ferrari, once seen as the fairy tale ending to his legendary career, has turned into something much more complicated. His first season in red has been filled with struggle, car issues, miscommunication, and visible frustration. His infamous meltdown in Spain, where he told the team over the radio to sack him mid-race, summed it all up. And although he's since reaffirmed his commitment to Ferrari, the cracks are obvious. The question isn't whether Hamilton can still drive at a world-class level. It's whether he'll want to keep fighting a losing battle through another rebuilding cycle. That's where Piastri comes in. Ferrari sees him as the future, young, intelligent, and ice-cold under pressure, the perfect driver to rebuild the team around. But this story isn't just about Ferrari's needs, it's also about what's happening inside McLaren. On paper, McLaren should be a dream team. Two of the fastest young drivers in the world, a championship-caliber car, and a team that's finally back to winning ways. But behind the scenes, the dynamic is anything but harmonious. Despite leading the championship by more than 20 points over Norris, Piastri has quietly grown frustrated with how McLaren has handled the intra-team rivalry. The so-called papaya rules, the internal guidelines meant to keep things fair between the two drivers, have done the opposite. In Hungary, Piastri was asked to let Norris by. In Monza, it happened again. But in Singapore, when Norris bumped Piastri off the line at turn 1, the team took no action. That was the moment things changed. Piastri's short but pointed radio message, "That wasn't very team-like," said everything that needed to be said. To many, it looked like a team protecting its British golden boy. And for Piastri, an Australian who's had to fight for every inch of recognition, that cut deep. Then there's Mark Webber, Piastri's manager and mentor, a man who knows this kind of situation all too well. Back in his Red Bull days, Webber lived through a similar story, fighting for equal treatment against Sebastian Vettel and feeling the sting of team favoritism. Now, he's determined to make sure his protege never goes through the same thing. Webber is fiercely protective, calculated, and unafraid to make bold moves. If he senses that McLaren isn't treating Piastri fairly, he won't hesitate to start looking for the next opportunity, even if that means knocking on Ferrari's door. And that's why this rumor feels more than just idle gossip. It makes sense. But Ferrari isn't the only name being whispered. Former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher has hinted that Red Bull or Aston Martin could also be potential landing spots for Piastri. According to Schumacher, Webber has already had informal conversations with Red Bull executives, keeping all options open should things deteriorate further at McLaren. And let's not forget, Christian Horner once tried to sign Piastri before McLaren locked him down in 2025. If Max Verstappen were to ever step away, whether out of frustration, politics, or pure burnout, Red Bull would need a proven race winner to fill the void. Piastri fits that mold perfectly. Aston Martin could also make sense. Fernando Alonso has already hinted that 2026 might be his final season. The team's billionaire owner, Lawrence Stroll, is investing heavily into the future. A state-of-the-art factory, new wind tunnel, and deep partnerships with Honda for engines. With Alonso gone, Aston will need a top-tier driver to lead them into the next generation. By then, Formula One will be entering an entirely new era. The 2026 regulations will reset the sport. New chassis designs, revised aerodynamics, and radical power unit changes focused on sustainable fuel. That means the performance hierarchy could completely flip. Ferrari could dominate again, Red Bull could stumble, McLaren could lose its edge. No one knows. And for a driver like Piastri, that uncertainty makes timing everything. If McLaren misfires with its 2026 car, he may have performance clauses in his contract that allow him to walk away early. And if Ferrari gets it right, the opportunity could be too tempting to ignore. For Piastri, Ferrari represents the ultimate dream. Racing in red isn't just a career move. It's a chance at immortality. Team principal Fred Vasseur insists Ferrari doesn't play favorites, claiming both drivers get equal treatment. For someone like Piastri, who's already feeling like a second priority at McLaren, that message might sound appealing. But Ferrari's history tells another story. Equal treatment only lasts as long as the results do. And when the Italian press starts circling, pressure becomes unbearable. It's a team that can make legends, but it can also destroy them. Even Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, has learned how tough Ferrari can be. The passion, the politics, the endless scrutiny. It's not for everyone. Still, for Piastri, young, hungry, and already a title contender, the allure of driving for Ferrari might be impossible to resist. Right now, the reality is that Piastri is contractually tied to McLaren until 2028. Both he and team principal Andrea Stella have brushed off the Ferrari rumors publicly, but privately, the situation feels fragile. Because Formula One isn't just about contracts, it's about trust. And once a driver starts doubting his team, that trust rarely returns. If Piastri wins the 2025 championship, which he's on track to do, everything changes. World champions have leverage. They can demand new terms, fresh clauses, or even negotiate early exits. But if he loses the title, especially if he feels team strategy or bias cost him, that could be the final straw. The next few months will be critical. Every race, every pit call, every side-by-side battle between Norris and Piastri will be analyzed under a microscope. The media will spin it, the fans will take sides, and the pressure will only grow. Because make no mistake, this story isn't just rumor, it's the start of something bigger. Oscar Piastri might be leading the championship today, but his future could shape the next generation of Formula One. And if the whispers are true, by 2027, the quiet Australian could be wearing scarlet red, standing under the Italian flag, chasing glory for Ferrari. The only question is, will McLaren let him go, or will they push him away? In Formula One, loyalty lasts only as long as the stopwatch says you're winning. And right now, Oscar Piastri is winning. But the race off track has just begun.